why is giving feedback so dang hard? Well, the first thing is that it triggers our basic survival instincts. Basically have this protocol, which is that we are trying to maximize pleasure and minimize danger. And as a result, we're constantly seeking moments that make us feel good, and we avoid things that make us feel uncomfortable. Now, what's really interesting is that our limbic system, which is where our fight or flight lives, it can process information in just under 1/5 of a second, which means we're picking up tiny cues from people and the environment all the time to understand, are we in danger? What's wild is when we're in a feedback conversation, we tend to not only pick up on the other person's discomfort, but because we have mirror neurons, which helps us match the other person's energy, we get uncomfortable, they get even more uncomfortable, and all of a sudden you spiral out into a situation where nobody's feeling good at all. And then when you're in this fight or flight response, you have to try to say something intelligent, thoughtful, direct, and specific, and it doesn't necessarily come out. Now, another piece here is that the part of the brain that registers critical feedback is the same part of the brain that registers pain. So in many ways, when you are giving someone feedback, they can tend to receive it like a little punch in the head. Now, the second thing that also contributes to feedback being particularly awkward and uncomfortable is that we have never really been taught how to do it in a way that feels good. So this is where frameworks can be particularly helpful when you want to approach a situation that could feel potentially uncomfortable, like sharing with your neighbor that you're sick and tired of their hedges constantly being cut in the shape of hearts. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our 5-part framework for delivering feedback. All right, so let's dive into the 5-part framework for feedback that's going to change everything. I like to call tips 2, name it, frame it, discuss it, and fix it. At the end of the day, the single most important thing that's going to guarantee your success is practice. So to close, feedback is hard. And it's hard because our brains are wired for safety and comfort, and giving feedback is inherently uncomfortable because we're telling someone that if they already knew, they probably wouldn't be doing. But now you've got a cheat sheet, and hopefully this is something you can use whenever you've got to give some hard news to somebody you care about. And if you're truly interested in somebody else's development, growth, and/or longevity with a company or in a relationship, it's essential that you give them feedback.